There is a power inside you, a power so ancient, so primal, so explosive that it can create life itself. It surges in your blood, it burns in your bones, it pulses through your thoughts when no one's watching. It is the force that built kingdoms, wrote poetry, started wars, and gave birth to revolutions. It is sexual energy. But let me tell you something the world will never dare say out loud. The man who cannot master this energy will never master his destiny. Because sexual energy, uncontrolled, is chaos. But sexual energy, transmuted, is genius. That same desire that makes a man restless with lust, that hunger that keeps you awake at night, that pulse you feel when you see beauty, when you ache with longing. That is life force. That is your creative engine, and if you don't learn how to channel it, it will devour you. Most men spend their lives chasing pleasure. Few ever discover the secret. Pleasure is not the reward. Purpose is. You've been taught to release, to escape, to consume, but the greatest men in history knew something different. They didn't waste it. They transmuted it. When Napoleon Hill studied 500 of the most powerful men in America, from Edison to Ford to Rockefeller, he discovered a truth so bold it scared the timid. The men of greatest achievement are very highly sexed, but they have learned the art of transmuting their sexual energy into creative and productive outlets. He wasn't talking about suppression. He was talking about redirection. You see, sexual energy is not just physical. It is spiritual. It is the rocket fuel of the soul. But if you keep burning it on cheap release, on screens, on empty pleasure, you will never rise. Because every time you indulge in lust without purpose, you're bleeding power. You're handing over the keys to your empire for a few seconds of escape. But what if? What if you chose differently? What if you looked in the mirror and said, I will no longer be a slave to my desires. I will master them. I will convert every drop of this burning desire into fuel for greatness. What if you woke up at 5 a.m. with fire in your chest and said, today, I don't chase women. I chase excellence. I don't seek release. I seek to rise. What if you turned down temptation, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to delay pleasure for a greater prize? What if your abstinence became your armor? What if your discipline became your dominance? What if your sexual energy became your secret weapon? Because the truth is, sexual transmutation isn't just about avoiding lust. It's about awakening your higher self. It's about saying, I have the power to create life. Then surely I have the power to create a legacy. It's not about running from temptation. It's about standing in the fire and saying, I am the fire. The man who has mastered his urges cannot be bribed by beauty, cannot be distracted by lust, cannot be derailed by the flesh. He walks like a king. He speaks like a prophet. He builds like a god. Because while other men waste their days chasing what fades, he is building empires, writing books, leading armies, changing the world. He is no longer a prisoner of his biology. He is the alchemist of his energy. He doesn't waste his essence. He channels it. You see, the average man, he doesn't understand power. He thinks strength is in the gym, in the size of his chest, in the number of women he can conquer. But power, real power, is in the man who can conquer himself. He's the man who can stand in a room full of temptation and not flinch. He's the man who can feel the hunger, but refuses to be ruled by it, because he knows something the world has forgotten. Desire is divine when it's controlled, but it's destructive when it controls you. The man who learns to transmute sexual energy into purpose becomes a weapon. He's sharp, focused, dangerous, not because he's angry, but because he's disciplined. Not because he suppresses his desire, but because he refines it into purpose. Take a look at every man who's moved the world. Leonardo da Vinci, who lived in celibacy and poured his energy into masterpieces. Nikola Tesla, who stayed single, channeling his intensity into invention. Muhammad Ali, who abstained before fights, saying it made him stronger, more determined, more alive. Even spiritual warriors like the monks of Tibet, the yogis of India, the sages of ancient China, they all knew the same sacred secret. When you stop spilling your power, you start ascending. The world laughs at this. They mock the man who chooses discipline over dopamine. But remember, the world is full of mediocrity. And greatness always looks insane to those addicted to comfort. They want you weak. They want you drained. They want you addicted to screens, to sex, to swipes, to synthetic pleasure, because as long as you are chasing flesh, you are not building a future. But when you rise above it, when you go days, weeks, months without wasting your energy on meaningless release, you begin to feel it. That surge, that focus, that strength. Your voice deepens, your eyes sharpen, your thoughts cut like a blade, and suddenly you're walking differently, talking differently, moving like a man who knows he was born for something greater. Because you were. Understand this. Sexual energy is the foundation of creation. It's not just for procreation, it's for innovation. It's the divine substance of life. When you hoard it, when you build it, when you harness it, you become magnetic. People can feel it. They don't know why they're drawn to you, but they are. It's not charm. It's not looks. It's power. Raw, unfiltered, sacred power. The man who walks in sexual mastery is a man reborn. He's no longer chasing. He's attracting. He's no longer begging for love. He is love, fierce, protective, and present. He's no longer a boy trying to prove something. He's a man building a legacy. He can go to battle in the boardroom. He can build billion-dollar visions. He can write words that move nations. Because the same energy that makes him ache in the night, he now uses to move mountains in the day. Let me say it again. This is not suppression. This is not shame. This is sacred alchemy. You are not rejecting your nature. You are elevating it. You are not pushing away pleasure. You are redefining it. Because to the man on the path to greatness, the real pleasure is not in the act. It's in the mission. The real climax is not in the bed. It's in the moment you see your vision come alive. So next time the urge comes, next time the screen calls your name, next time your body screams for release, don't run from it. Feel it. Let it rise like fire in your veins. Let it roar in your chest. Then harness it. Breathe through it and use it. Write that book. Build that business. Conquer that weight. Dominate that day. Because you're not a slave to lust. You are a channel of life force. You are a man of vision. You don't need to escape. You need to create. Brother, This world doesn't need another man chasing pleasure. It needs men on fire. Men who have turned their hunger into hustle. Men who walk with a storm inside them. Not because they are broken, but because they are becoming. They need men who no longer need a reason to rise, because they are the reason. Men who carry the weight of their legacy like armor on their shoulders. Men who can say to the flesh, I know what you want, but I choose what I need. That's the difference. The average man obeys desire. The great man leads it. He channels it. He focuses it. He forges it into action, into results, into domination. You think that billionaire got there by chance? You think